Hey, I've mentioned this to you before, but I say it to you again. Don't worry about numbers. In the early stages, it's a hot heart that you're looking for. In the innovation diffusion model, you'll notice pioneers rarely number more than 3 to 5%. 3 to 5%, 3 to 5 people out of every 100 who attend your church on a Sunday morning. By the way, the mean for all churches is 75, meaning half of all churches have 75 or less. Half of all churches have 75 or more. So if you're having about 100 people, you're looking for 3 to 5 individuals out of that Sunday morning attendance. Add to that group the early adapters. That's about 15 to 20% with those pioneers. And with that number alone, you'll begin to experience bubble up in your congregation. The tipping point for change never requires a majority. It requires a fervent minority. 20%, actually the number is touted to be around 17 to 18%. That almost 20% will affect an early majority of 20 to 35%, and then a late majority of the same number. And you've transitioned the entire congregation. Now there's on the other end of this, a small resistant minority who will never accept the change. They'll never feel like your prayer style or your prayer approach is like grandma's. And they may fight or resist in some way. But the bottom line, it does not take a Sunday morning crowd at prayer meeting to change the direction of the church. In the early chapters of the book of Acts, the church is exploding. And it exploded out of a prayer meeting, Acts chapter 1 and 2. Those who came to Christ did what? They continued in prayer. These leaders are seen in Acts 3, going to another prayer meeting, and the miraculous occurs. And then in Acts chapter 4, the place is shaken out of a prayer meeting as the church gathers together. Over and over, you'll find prayer on top of prayer. And while there are private moments of prayer, Stephen, Saul of Tarsus, we know him as Paul, Ananias, Peter on the rooftop, Cornelius, and more, the focus largely is public gatherings of prayer. The church moves forward on the back of its prayer meetings. And the power of the prayer meetings is due, at least in part, to the collective passion of people's personal prayer lives. All of this is out of the dedication and resolve of a relative few. 3 at the core of the 12 disciples. Remember that? And then 70 around the 12 disciples. And then 120, a small number, considering the swelling numbers in Jerusalem for the feast. Many of us have been so preoccupied with low turnouts to prayer meetings. We would have been discouraged in Acts with a low turnout. Only 120 after the crucifixion, after the resurrection, after all the sightings of Jesus, after the dead had been seen in the streets of Jerusalem, after the ascension of Christ, only 120. But the resolve of that small group created the tipping point with God's finger of Pentecost Sunday, and the rest is history. Forget about the numbers. Go with the goers. Back and forth. Private, public prayer. At home, at church. The personal, the corporate. The family unit, the church unit. This is how we move forward.
Have you become a part of the Praying Church movement? For more information, visit www.projectpray.org/PLCE. Looking for more resources? Visit www.alivepublications.org. This video is produced by Alive Ministries Project Pray in connection to the Praying Church movement and the Prayer Leaders Continuing Education effort. If you would like to contact us, please address all mail to Alive Ministries, Project Pray, P.O. Box 1245, Kannapolis, North Carolina 28082, or email us at info@projectpray.org, or call toll free at 855-842-5483.